A distant rustle in the Peleliu jungle caught Corporal Daniel Caldwell's ear, a sound almost imperceptible, yet to him as clear as a bell. He knew what moved unseen, but Japanese soldiers had no idea they were being watched, or of the desperate Marine platoon huddled just yards behind him. By day's end, 28 lives would be spared. This extraordinary day began in a deeply challenging situation. On September 16, 1944, the 1st Platoon of Marines, 28 men strong, they advanced through Peleliu's treacherous coral ridges when a fierce Japanese counterattack struck. American lines buckled under mortar fire, machine guns, and infantry assaults. The 1st Platoon found itself cut off, pushed into a box canyon. It was formed by imposing, towering coral walls. By nightfall, they occupied defensive positions isolated without radio contact, and surrounded by an estimated 150 to 200 Japanese soldiers. Lieutenant Thomas Morrison, their commander, surveyed their limited resources. They had 28 men, approximately 400 rounds per rifle, a mere 6 grenades, 1 Browning automatic rifle with 200 rounds. They also had 2 wounded Marines, and the Japanese had them trapped. Morrison faced a stark choice: attempt a perilous night breakout. They needed to move through unknown terrain with wounded men, or hold their position and hope for relief. He chose to hold, placing the lives of his men on the slimmest of hopes. Among these men was Daniel Caldwell, a 29-year-old Appalachian turkey hunter from Morgantown, West Virginia. He had learned his craft from his father and grandfather in the Monongahela National Forest. He began learning his craft at age 17. By 29, he had taken 87 turkeys, everyone at ranges under 40 yards. He relied on patience and stealth, never aggressive pursuit. Turkey hunting had instilled in him specific skills: silent movement through dense undergrowth, remaining motionless for hours, reading subtle environmental cues, understanding how prey moved, and knowing precisely when to wait and when to shoot. Most importantly, he understood that a single gunshot alerted every turkey within 400 yards. Multiple shots meant no more hunting for the day. These principles, he believed, applied equally to Japanese soldiers in the jungle. At dawn on September 17th, at 6:15 a.m., the Japanese began probing American positions. Squad-sized elements moved through the undergrowth, testing defenses. They reached within 50 yards, exchanged rifle fire, and withdrew. Morrison, acutely aware of their dwindling ammunition, ordered his Marines to hold fire. The Japanese could not advance within 30 yards. At 7 a.m., another probe brought the enemy within 40 yards before they retreated, clearly mapping the American defenses in preparation for a larger assault. At 8:30 a.m., Lieutenant Morrison, desperate, called Caldwell over. He asked if his unusual hunting skills could offer a solution. Caldwell confirmed they could, proposing a radical departure from standard Marine doctrine. He suggested moving slowly, silently, getting close, taking single shots, and allowing the enemy to come to him rather than chasing them. 1 kill at a time, he explained, patience over aggression. Morrison, trained in aggressive fire and movement, noted this contradicted everything Marines were taught. This was a doctrine built on superior numbers. Caldwell countered that when outnumbered, hunting rules applied. Given the desperate situation, Morrison granted him until noon to prove his unconventional approach. At 9:15 a.m., Caldwell moved out, alone. He crawled silently 30 yards forward of the Marine lines, finding a natural hide between 2 coral outcrops camouflaged by thick jungle growth. From this position, he had a clear view of the main Japanese approach. He settled in, prone, his M1 Garand ready. He remained absolutely still, understanding that movement attracted attention. Stillness rendered one invisible as he waited. At 10:20 a.m., a Japanese patrol of 5 soldiers cautiously advanced, searching for Marine positions. They passed within 20 yards of Caldwell, so close he could hear their hushed voices. He held his fire, watching them continue toward the Marine lines. They eventually drew fire and withdrew. Morrison later questioned why Caldwell had engaged. Caldwell explained that shooting one would have alerted the others, sending them back with valuable information about an American presence forward of their main line. It was better, he reasoned, to control the situation. At 11:33 a.m., another patrol, this time 4 soldiers, approached along the same route. They stopped 25 yards from Caldwell's hide, setting up a temporary defensive position. Caldwell remained motionless for 14 minutes. The Japanese soldiers relaxed slightly, one even lit a cigarette. This was their mistake. At 11:47 a.m., 3 of the soldiers moved forward, leaving the 4th to provide rear security. Caldwell had his isolated target. He sighted the rear security soldier 22 yards distant, center mass, and fired a single precise shot. The M1 Garand cracked, and the soldier dropped. Caldwell instantly rolled 6 feet to his left, finding a new position behind a coral outcrop. The remaining Japanese soldiers fired wildly at his previous location, rounds tearing through the undergrowth where he'd been moments before. He didn't return fire. He waited. The 3 soldiers cautiously advanced toward their fallen comrade, searching for the shooter. They passed within 18 yards of Caldwell's new position. He let them pass as they reached their dead comrade, confused and worried. One soldier knelt to examine the body while the other 2 provided security, facing the wrong directions. Caldwell fired again, striking the kneeling soldier at 19 yards. The soldier fell forward. The 2 remaining Japanese soldiers scattered, one left, one right. Caldwell tracked the right-hand soldier through the undergrowth as he ran back toward his lines in a panic. Caldwell led the movement and fired. The soldier went down at 31 yards. The left-hand soldier had wisely gone to ground in thick vegetation. Caldwell didn't pursue. Don't chase spooked prey, he remembered. Let them think they're safe and they'll make another mistake. After 8 minutes of complete stillness, the Japanese soldier cautiously moved toward his comrades' bodies. Caldwell shot him at 24 yards. 4 Japanese dead, 4 shots fired. Caldwell then relocated 20 yards east, found a new hide, and waited again. At 12:35 p.m., a larger Japanese force, perhaps 15 soldiers, approached. They had found the 4 bodies and were now searching systematically, weapons ready, moving with coordinated intent. Caldwell remained hidden, understanding this was not the right situation to engage. He let them pass. They moved toward the Marine lines, engaged Morrison's men at 40 yards, then withdrew after a brief firefight. Caldwell watched them pass his position during their retreat. He didn't shoot. Morrison later asked why. Caldwell explained that engaging them during withdrawal would have revealed his forward position to the enemy, compromising his advantage. At 1:10 p.m., another patrol of 6 nervous, cautious Japanese soldiers approached. They knew an unseen hunter stalked the jungle. Caldwell allowed them to pass his hide, then shot the last soldier in the patrol, the rear security, at 28 yards. The other 5 spun around, firing wildly into the jungle before rapidly withdrawing, leaving their dead comrade. Caldwell had 5 kills in total. Between 1:30 p.m. and 3 p.m., Caldwell added 6 more Japanese soldiers to his tally. Each kill followed the same pattern: silent waiting, isolated targets, single shots, and immediate relocation. The Japanese simply could not locate him. Every patrol they sent out lost 1 or 2 men to this invisible shooter. By 3 p.m., the Japanese stopped sending small patrols. They were afraid. Caldwell's method had created a profound psychological impact. Their soldiers now knew that approaching the American positions likely meant death from an unseen sniper. From the Marine lines, Morrison observed 11 Japanese bodies visible in the jungle, all killed by single shots, all by Caldwell. During this entire period, the Marines suffered 0 casualties. At 3:30 p.m., the Japanese launched a coordinated assault, approximately 40 soldiers attacking from 2 directions. Morrison's Marines engaged with everything they had. Caldwell, from his forward position, engaged the Japanese from the flank, a direction they did not expect. He killed 3 during this assault before relocating. The Japanese attack faltered, withdrawing after taking casualties from an unexpected angle. Unable to identify the firing position, at 4:20 p.m., Caldwell noticed the Japanese preparing for another assault. Through the thick jungle, he saw officers organizing troops 70 yards out. He worked his way closer, crawling slowly in absolute silence, until he reached a position 35 yards from their assembly area. Identifying an officer directing troops, he fired a single shot. The officer dropped. Immediate confusion erupted. Japanese soldiers scattered and the assault preparation collapsed. Caldwell relocated before they could respond, moving back toward the Marine lines and finding a new hide 25 yards forward of the perimeter. Between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m., he killed 8 more Japanese soldiers, all at ranges between 20 and 35 yards, all isolated targets, all with single shots. The psychological pressure was eroding Japanese morale. At 6:30 p.m., American artillery sounded in the distance. A relief column was approaching. The Japanese heard it too and began withdrawing, pulling back before American reinforcements arrived. Caldwell shot 4 more Japanese soldiers during their retreat, targeting officers attempting to organize the withdrawal. His final kill came at 7:20 p.m. A Japanese NCO directing troops to fall back positions at a range of 29 yards. At 7:30 p.m., the lead elements of the American relief column reached the 1st platoon. The siege was over. The 28 Marines had held against 180 Japanese for 26 hours. Caldwell's extraordinary hunting tactics had resulted in 31 confirmed enemy kills. Lieutenant Morrison debriefed the relief column commander, showing him Caldwell's forward positions and the 37 spent shell casings spread across 3 distinct locations. The commander inquired how Caldwell managed to make so many kills without being located. Caldwell explained, turkey hunting, silent movement, patience, single shots, immediate relocation, and a deep understanding of how prey moved through terrain. Impressed, the commander suggested Caldwell transfer to Scout Sniper School. Caldwell, however, preferred to remain with his 1st platoon. The 1st platoon remained on Peleliu through October. Caldwell participated in 7 more engagements, his personal tally reaching 47 confirmed kills, all achieved with his unique turkey hunting methods at ranges under 40 yards. In November 1944, the Marine Corps requested Caldwell document his tactics. He spent 2 weeks writing a manual on close-quarters stalking techniques, adapted directly from his hunting practice. The manual detailed silent movement through dense terrain using natural concealment, prioritizing patience over aggression, the single-shot doctrine to avoid revealing one's position, immediate relocation after engagement, and understanding the terrain as a hunter understands animal habitat. By January 1945, Caldwell's methods were incorporated into Marine Scout sniper training as a supplementary doctrine for jungle warfare, offering an alternative when stealth provided a better chance of survival than aggressive tactics. Daniel Caldwell survived the war and was awarded the Bronze Star for his engagement on September 17th. The citation mentioned his exceptional tactics in close-quarters combat but made no mention of turkey hunting. In December 1945, he returned to West Virginia to Morgantown and the Monongahela National Forest, where he hunted turkeys for another 40 years, employing the same silent methods and the same unwavering patience. In 1982, a Marine Corps historian researching small unit tactics on Peleliu discovered the 1st platoon's after-action reports, which detailed Caldwell's 8-hour engagement and his 31 close-range kills using non-standard tactics. The historian tracked down Caldwell, then 67 and still hunting. When asked about September 17th, Caldwell confirmed the details, remarking that any turkey hunter could have done the same. The principles he maintained were identical: patience, silence, single shots, relocation. Asked what he had been thinking during those intense 8 hours, Caldwell replied that he had been thinking about a particularly challenging turkey he'd hunted in 1939. A 3-hour wait, a silent crawl, and a 22-yard shot. The same patience, the same discipline. The turkey was a harder target, he added. Better eyesight than Japanese soldiers. Daniel Caldwell passed away in 2003 at the age of 88. His M1 Garand was donated to the West Virginia Veterans Museum. While most visitors might not dwell on the display placard mentioning his Peleliu service. In Marine Corps Scout sniper training, Caldwell's engagement on Peleliu is still studied. It stands as a testament to the principle that silent patience at close range. This can create psychological dominance, demonstrating that one hunter employing stealth can control terrain that entire platoons might struggle to take by force. Sometimes the most vital combat skills are not taught in boot camp. They are learned in the mountains, hunting turkeys, understanding silence and patience. Caldwell proved that an Appalachian hunter armed with stealth could save lives when conventional aggression faltered.